Yarg! I finally got me booty!
I mean, who can say no, right? Like, who doesn't want Bodhi now, right? But that's not the only token out there, is there? We got a couple other things going on. Like, I think you're silented.
Oh yeah, I accidentally muted my mic.
Let's talk about that. We got another token, don't we? We got our eyes on the GG token today. You want to give us a little bit of heads up on what's going on with that?
Yeah. So, we have the support we've gotten the last week. Has been amazing. We met our minimum goal last week. And yeah, the people keep continuing to flood in. So today's your last day to be able to get GG tokens in this initial offering. We do have planned to potentially do another offering a year from now, but this is your chance to get in now and start building and creating with us. So
and voting, actually giving your voice to whatever it is that happens to come up. We've got a lot of things, a lot of irons in the fire, and there's a lot to chat about.
I mean, the biggest, that's the two biggest things you really get from the GG token is, you have a direct say in what we're doing at the collective, what games we're pursuing, how we're using our funds to, build something for the community. Do we want to invest in assets? What do we want to do? As well as receiving, a royalty share in whatever we earn with the GG collective. So, this is your way to really be a part of owning, this, massive community project. This is kind of what we envisioned Web3 decentralized gaming world could look like, is, everyone owning a share and having a say in how things go. And this is the way we get to do it. Yeah.
We're taking steps forward. And honestly, I'm thrilled about what we have available to us too. We've got some great development with NFTD. We got some great development with Arcade. And a lot of us are here because of Mooncast. A lot of us flooded in when we saw that we wanted to do something, and it's just great to know that all of these things are active and moving. And then there's other stuff too. We have the Pierce T1 for Star Atlas. That's all of these things are in works. Plus, there's how many assets do community members have? Ultimately, this all started as an idea of taking people that owned assets and connecting them with people that liked to play the games. And sometimes you don't have the time to do that, but if you can find someone readily that can do the gameplay side of it, then both of you can benefit. You can find a way to facilitate that. And I remember that being the thing that really drew me to the initial concept of the GG collective. And there's just so much more that can happen now. We've really added a lot to it. Wanted to real quick point out that if you still want to be a part of it, it's on myseedstarter.com.
Yep.
And while you're there, you can mint a Seed Starter growth avatar. Now that's a separate website. It's seedstartergrowth.com, but you can mint an avatar there, and that would come in really handy because this week NFTD they actually went a little heavy because it wasn't just this one. They actually released another one. But first, let's focus on the Astral Seed Tower. If you own one of the Seed Starter growth avatars, you can now deploy the Astral Seed Tower in game, and that's one that heals other towers. So growth makes sense. But there's also the Forged in Crypto Forged Hammer NFT that got some gameplay love this week, and I was kind of writing up the notes, and I was like, it can help you ban incoming waves with the Forge Hammer Tower. I don't know if that might be a little lame, but it apparently it does. It throws hammers, so it's just pretty cool. Also very cool is that this past week the top 10 on the leaderboard for NFTD qualified for one of those Forged Hammer NFTs, and so they'll be able to be using that in game as soon as those are distributed. Prior to that, the Vox team had paired up with NFTD to give a common Vox land to all of the top 20 in the last week of May Mayhem. We're still trying to figure out where those are at. And Tim said that he's going to bat. He's gonna find out what's going on with those to make sure that everybody gets them.
Yeah,
So,
I think
yeah, go ahead.
There's a lot going on, on Gala's side, obviously, and I think it's, they also have a lot of irons in the fire. I think, but like you said, we're gonna keep working hard to. That was something they committed to, so we're gonna make sure they fulfill their commitment.
Yeah, and so that'll allow you to have the cube tower.
Yep.
In game, so the lands and actually, now I might be misspeaking. Do they enable the lands, or is it just the Vox themselves that enable the cube tower?
I believe at this point it's just the Vox itself.
Yeah.
That is a good point, because if someone from the leaderboard won the Vox land, I think that should also reciprocate as a cube tower if they don't happen to have a Vox.
Somebody ping Tim. Or Graham.
I'm gonna make note of that, and I'm gonna bring that up to him and Graham.
Cool. Hey, while we're running down the list of things that you can find in the GG Collective server, let's talk about Arcade real quick. Stone Ice was talking about gearing up for an AMA very soon. Now, they haven't posted any date or time yet, but we will keep you updated. And if it happens to fall between shows, just make sure you're keeping an eye on the GG Collective Discord, because it'll get posted as an announcement there.
Yep.
Moving on, we have the weekly update from Mooncast, and it's really like someone posted. I can't remember who it was, but it was just like someone was saying how it's just really nice, the familiarity of the weekly, the Friday updates from Jason Hughes, and he has not made it any simpler to understand. But I was able to extract some information this week. We had some good news. Paul apparently was behind world creation, so he was taking some steps to give birth to the new world, at least within the intro zone, or the starter zone. Eric was working with some wallet integration, and he was able to set up a test blockchain and then use the game wallet to pass NFTs back and forth from the test server or the test blockchain to the game wallet back out. And it included some signatures. And so it's apparently they at least the simple version is working exactly the way they want it to. So that's cool. Not every week that we address every single person that gets listed, but I wanted to go through it this week because I don't want anyone to be unsung here, because all of these people are really experts at what they do. So Angel and Maxi apparently are doing digital surgery in regards to animations. They were finding some things that just were creating errors and managed to extract some of that. Catherine is cranking out items and equipment, things like that. And Arturo apparently this past week stood up the first character model. The one thing that they were saying is that all of them really spent a bunch of time this week also looking into new tools that are going to make the job simpler. So their goal is not only faster, or not only better, but also faster. And there are some things out there that they're finding that are going to be able to help them with that. They did mention something about singletons, and my brain doesn't know what a singleton is, but I really started thinking it was probably something like a sim, Sims, and a cross between the Sims and the Pinkertons, who were like the detectives back in the day. And so I started thinking about like a Clue game, and then I realized that this isn't what he talks about in this kind of update. And so I realized that I just don't know what a singleton is.
Probably something tech related.
Yeah, it's great stuff. But they improved their singletons, whatever that is.
Whatever that means, I love it.
So someone can teach us some other time. We like to track a bunch of games that are going on in other places too. Wild Forest this past week, last Friday actually, they announced that their game launch is going to be the last week of June. They didn't give a specific day, but they did say last week of June. And it's also going to mark the beginning of their Play to Airdrop Season 2. And they're going to convert their beta assets at that time as well. If you recall, last week we talked about their sale that was on the Ronin chain. I think that was in the Mavis store. And in those boxes, you could receive one of their Lords NFTs, which is their avatar, the premium avatar type NFT. And those will be they're intending to have those in a staking program before the launch, and those things, if staked, will also contribute to the Play to Airdrop rewards for Season 2. They also have other plans for those as well. It's each of these economies, when we're addressing these games, incredibly complex. Everybody knows that if you just throw a token out there, we're going to see what we saw back in 2021 with pretty much everything. Everything just went crazy because there was like foolish money being thrown at blockchain, and then everything died because the people that were in early were looking for an exit, and so nobody wants to see that happen to their game. So all of these ecosystems have become much more complex, and I believe it's for the better, but it also becomes something that you can't really just explain in a quick snippet or an update. We're going to dive into a bunch of these. We've already started that with some of them as well. We've done some stuff with Neon Heroes. There's some Spellborn stuff that we're going to be putting out to take a look at that. For people that like the Pokemon style game, that's a really neat one that's picking up steam here. But then I also wanted to go into one that it's from a blockchain that's incredibly unsung, and maybe for good reasons, but Wax took a beating this past bear market. But there were some games that survived, and this game Nanotopia is one. It's actually a rebrand. It was originally the Green Rabbit game, and as of late last year, it was essentially new ownership. And they kind of rebranded the whole thing, and continued a lot of the basic features of it. The 2D idle game version of it, where you can stake your NFTs in order to earn tokens, and then you use those tokens to go out and harvest materials for crafting purposes. That all continued throughout that. They did address some of the economic situations. They reduced the earnings by 75%. So they cut back the amount of token emissions in order to be able to make the economy more sustainable. And they did some other tweaking as well. But what's really interesting now, and I wanted to bring this up because of our familiarity with Bodhi, and we're looking at meme coins and utility and things like that. Well, the Wax ecosystem had a meme coin launch called the Woofy token. So it's got a very dog-like presence, just like most of the popular ones these days. But if you were a Green Rabbit NFT holder, or now a Nanotopia NFT holder, you were dropped some of these tokens. Initially, Woofy ran a contest across the Wax ecosystem, and the top projects qualified for this airdrop. There's also, if you just held Wax tokens in your wallet, you also got dropped some of this meme token. But right away, Nanotopia elected to engage this meme token within their own game. So the harvesting process that you can go on, you can send out your harvesters to go find resources, and it's a randomly generated sort of thing. Most of the time you bring something back. Sometimes you fail the mission and there's nothing. But what they enabled was this new phase of it, where at specific times, and they let you know ahead of time, but not too much ahead of time. They really want to keep people engaged. So you have to be kind of checking up on their server. But as you start sending out your harvesters during these special times, you can bring back this item it's twine. If you get 3 twine items, you can use that along with one of their epic orbs in order to craft a magical lead. And if you have this lead, you can equip that on your harvester, and you can send the harvester out on a special mission to see if you can go find what they're calling a wolf pup. There are 6 different ones, and it's a very low percentage rate chance of success. You can, if you maximize it, you can get up to I think it's a 5% chance per hour that they're out. No, it's not even that. It's a really low percent chance to be able to do it. And you have to send them out for like 4 to 6 hour chunks at a time. But they only run the event for about 24 hours. So you have a limited opportunity to go find one of these pups. But if you are one of the people that does, that pup can start joining your harvester on its missions for gathering resources. And there will be moments, there are like opportunities where that pup will discover a cache of the wolf token. So what essentially what they're doing is they're just finding utility for it. They're getting the wolf token cycling through their own ecosystem, giving people something to spend the token on, a way to find more of the token. So I wanted to call attention to this because this might be something that could trigger in the minds of our community. What's your take, Blake? What do you think about this?
I mean, like the whole mission of what we want to do, right, is find the things the community is engaged in, find ways for us to participate as the collective, as individuals within the collective. I don't know. I mean, I think I haven't dove enough into the game side itself to be like, and that's not what we're here to do, is to say, oh, go jump into this game or whatnot. But I don't know. I think it's an interesting concept. I do think, rebranding can be a positive thing, especially with, any company that survives a bear market that heavily, especially on something like the wax chain that did get hit pretty hard. So, I think there is a sense of trust I might innately have in those projects themselves that have been long lasting and have, survived through the tough times. So if they continue to go this way, I mean, I would love to see how, I don't know, gather a whole, like, I guess, what would you call it? What do you call it? Like gather like wolf pack for the collective of these dogs, and
that could be cool. If we would just all of a sudden flood their server with people that are just interested, that could be something totally different. And that is actually something I've been looking into with all these games that we're doing. The more any one of us digs into a game, like I've been really enjoying Spellborn. My kids love the Pokemon concept, and for me to be able to understand it in and out in order to be able to speak intelligently about it, it's taken a little bit of time to learn the nuances. You can plug into the Discord servers of these games and learn something through conversation. You can just play it and figure it out trial and error style, but it really does take some time in order to at least be like versed in it, in order to be able to speak intelligently. And while you're doing that, you are actually becoming a part of a new community. Well, that makes for an awesome opportunity to bridge between communities. So I've gotten a chance to talk to some of the people in both of these places, Spellborn and in Nanotopia, to be like, hey, this is what we're doing, And so once again, we have that rising tide raises all ships kind of opportunity. Now, so far, it's been very mutual. Everybody's like all jazzed. You get those thumbs up, you get the fire emojis going off anytime you show that you're working towards something that's going to be a benefit to more than just yourself. Like we really see that the mutual relationships are going to be the thing that set Web3 gaming apart from the classic Web2 gaming. We're not individual corporations bent on beating out the next company. We're happy to see anybody succeed, because that just creates more relevance for the idea of blockchain gaming at this point. Maybe somewhere down the line competition might get fierce, but there's so many gamers and there's so many different genres of game. I mean, and so we have a long time before that becomes a real issue. In the meantime, we can all build together, and our communities can grow simultaneously. We can share the ideas back and forth, and that's really the thing that was sparking me about this whole Great Wolf migration event, that what kind of things can it trigger for us in regards to, okay, we got Bodhi, and we know that Jason and his team, they're building Mooncast, but it doesn't have to be exclusive to that. We've seen that NFTD has talked about some possible Bodhi utility. Faz with his crypto, his Zit bugs, he was talking about maybe some Bodhi utility there. Like any one of us can come up with a cool idea. Really, I just want to get the conversation going. We have the Mooncast server, we have the GG Collective server. Each of them has a spot where Bodhi is like a feature to talk about. Let's get in there. Let's bat some ideas around and create some momentum for the token, or at least lay the framework for it. Right? Yeah. Maybe you don't know how to make a game, but you might have a neat idea. Like let's all speak up and try to bounce things back and forth so we can look at them and then pick the best and get that going forward. Ultimately, things that are good for Bodhi are good for the collective. They're good for Mooncast, and if it means like also like moving into like looking at other games, well then everything that we're building is going to be good for those games because we're that much more confident about the game space, and we're enjoying ourselves. We're finding games we like. All of these games that I've been looking at, they've got such merit, and I really just don't have enough time to play them. That's what it comes down to. Like, so I get to pick and choose. So do you. So let's let's find what's worth digging into. Okay.
100%. I mean, I would love to see the more we can do this, the better. I mean, and that's even what I feel like NFTD is trying to do to a little bit of a degree is, the Astral Towers, that's on base. We're incorporating ETH, and we're trying to incorporate, Galachain, and we're trying to tap into at least as many as we can ourselves. But I agree. I mean, more interoperable we can be, the better for everything.
Yeah, and even the Nanotopia team, they were talking about how as they were beginning the rebuild, they wanted the game to be as chain agnostic as possible. And I think that's the thing that most people have learned, that onboarding means it has to be easy, and if you can bring people in from whatever it is that they're familiar with, rather than forcing them to learn a whole new blockchain, get a whole new wallet, get a whole new browser extension, whatever it is. If as these things all start to work fluidly together, we're going to see a lot more people being able to enjoy it, being able to get it and get in. So I really do think, Rostakip, that is the way that people are going to succeed in this. There are going to definitely be the favorites and the strong chains to be on. We're looking at Solana being really popular. Base is apparently up and coming. There's a lot of things that are being built there. Ronin has a lot of quality game going on there. I would love to see things like Wax be able to bridge over to these other ones. I've always been a fan of the way that Wax did their transaction process. I don't know how it scales. I don't know, but I do like the fact that I can send something to somebody and I didn't have to pay for it. There was no transaction fee. I had Wax staked, and that allowed me a certain number of transactions every day, and that just has to recharge. I know that Hive Engine does it very similarly, and they have a bridge between Hive and Wax because Splinterlands was such a big deal between the two of those. But those are definitely smaller gaming blockchains in comparison to things like Solana, and then Ronin being an ETH L2 and everything like that. So it's possible that we could see this free flow between the chains. It'll be interesting to see how complicated that is for development, though. I don't know how many extra steps that forces you into at that point. I guess we could talk to the NFTD guys, because they're definitely seeing it with all the different types of towers they've got to implement, right?
100%.
Well, guys, that's pretty much it for today. We were really excited about the way things are going with the GG token offering. Remember, today's the last day to get in, so if you want to be a part, get your tokens now, and then I guess we'll talk to you guys later.
Yeah. Get your GG tokens. Come tell us what you got. I mean, hop in the Bodhi chat, say what you want to see Bodhi do, and it's gonna be. We got a lot of cool things coming. Hopefully we should have playtest coming for NFTD soon, and you guys get to see all the amazing work that the artists and Graham and Tim and Drew have put in. I mean, it's pretty dang cool. So we will see y'all next time.
All right, thanks a bunch, guys.
Bye.